Hi there, I'm Alexander. Welcome to this new class of Buddha Balance. Today we're going to work with crow pose, Kakasana in Sanskrit. So this is the crow pose towards which we're going to work today. Very nice arm balance, focusing on arm strength, core stability, and of course focus. And today we're going to discuss a few elements specific to the crow pose, but which will also be applicable to most of the arm balance. So if you're on a journey to arm balance, going towards the headstand or something like that, you can also use all the tips that I'm going to give you in the class today. So first, we're going to work on our base. When you're in an arm balance, in crow pose, what you are standing on, your hands of course. So what we're going to do now is take a moment to really strengthen the hands, the wrist, and warm up a little bit into this area so that they will be a bit more able to support our weight. So what you're going to do to start is just extend your arms in front of you with your fingers spread wide. And now you're just going to make a very tight fist and then release, really working on opening as much as you can and then squeezing as much as you can. And we do this for, let's do it for 30 seconds here to really get the muscles working in our wrist and our hands. So what you want to do here is really squeeze your fist really tight when you close it and really open and extend your fingers as much as you can when you are opening. So you go from the closest to the most open position. And we keep going like this, just a few more seconds, squeezing, opening. All right. So now you shake your hands a little bit, release. Take a couple breaths, notice the new warmth in your forearms, your wrist and your hands as well. And you know, we're just going to do a second round, but now that you get the movement of your hands, we're going to add a little bit tempo to it, so we're just going to do it a little faster. Extend your arms, and then you're just going to squeeze your fist and open. Let's do this one also for 30 seconds. And you know, if you don't like sitting in this position, sit however you like, maybe even stand while watching this video, that's okay. Now we are just working with the wrist and the hands. It doesn't matter how you are sitting or standing. Take your time, focus on your breath, focus on the sensations in your lower arms, in your wrist, your hands as well. Okay, good job. Give your hands a little shake, maybe roll your shoulders, your neck as well. All right, now we're going to do it a third time, moving even faster. So when you're ready, extend your arms and you start opening and closing with your hands. You should be feeling a little bit more difficult now because you are already worked with 2 rounds, but really focus on this. You know, your hands, when you're into crow pose, is where you put all your weight on, as well as your wrist. So make sure that they are properly warmed up before you do that. Eventually, you know, your wrists are not completely created to support your whole weight. It's nice that we are able to, but it takes a little bit of preparation. Okay, shake your hands, release. Okay, now the wrists need to be a little bit more flexible as well. So if you have very tight wrists, take a moment here. Come on your hands and knees. We're just going to do a few gentle movements here. So you are just on your hands and knees with your knees straight under your hips and your hands straight under your shoulders. Now as you inhale, you're going to shift your weight forward, moving your shoulders more to the front. And as you exhale, you move to the left and all the way back, bringing your hips to your heels. As you inhale, you move to the right, all the way to the front, and exhale. So you keep making big circles like that. Just moving left to right, front to back, feeling your wrists getting a little warmer here, making sure we're preparing them for our arm balance. Now you stay at the middle, and on the next exhale, you move to the right, back, left and to the front, and just keep moving like this gently, taking your time in this movement, not forcing anything. We're really just warming up, Probably feels nice also after the few hand squeezes that we did just before that. All right, stay at the middle. Now what you're going to do is bring your fingers pointing outwards. You bring your wrists towards each other, and then you start to move from left to right, right to left. Just a nice, gentle movement, not forcing anything. This is a nice way to loosen up some of the tension on your inner wrist here. Take your time, making sure you don't push too hard, you don't want to hurt yourself. Good job. Sit in the middle on your heels. Now you make tight fists again and you move your wrist out. Just a gentle movement. Try to keep your arms still and move only with your hands. Turn the other way around. Okay. Your hands a little shake. Place your hands on the mat. Now you turn your fingers towards you. So your wrist and elbows are open towards the front. Now, if this is already too much for you, you can also have your fingers pointing more to the side. And if it's good for you that be here, that you feel you have more space, then you start to move your hips back towards your heels, maybe even lifting your hand palms off the mat. See for yourself how it goes, staying here static or maybe moving a little bit front and back. But keep in mind that you don't want to go too far, just do what your body will allow you without forcing anything, just gently moving and warming up here. Okay, come back to a neutral position, bring your fingers forward. We got one last little exercise here. You're going to place the back of your right hand on the mat with your fingers pointing towards you. Then you apply a little bit of pressure on your hand. You should be feeling now the top of your wrist starting to stretch and open up a little bit. Come back, hand flat on the mat. Place the back of your left hand on the mat and start to gently apply some pressure. Again, make sure you find the right dosage. You want to find some stretch, but also stay soft and relaxed. And then you're going to keep switching like this, left or right, or if you feel good about it, maybe you do it with both hands at the same time. Maybe even shifting your hips a bit more back, but keeping the back of your hands flat on the mat the whole time. See for yourself how it goes, how it's like to move a bit left to right, right to left. Keep this mind of softness. Stay gentle with your body. Okay, stay in the middle. Come sit on your heels. Interlace your fingers. I know you make big circles with your hands. So this feels a bit funny, but it's a good way to really loosen up into your wrist and further warm up. Stay in the middle. Now, very funny. Turn the other way around. See how it goes like. Probably feels a bit weird if you're not used to do some things that are not your natural movement. That's good, creating more awareness to your body. Now give your hands a little shake and come into the plank. We're going to start to warm up into the shoulders as well. So for the plank, you're starting on your hands and knees. You make sure that your shoulders are straight above your hands and you're going to extend your legs towards the back. So for this plank, you want to really keep your back round and especially in your upper back. So you really want to round like this and bring your shoulders forward, your shoulder blades sliding to the outwards to really keep some strength into your upper back. And once you're in the plank, you tuck your pelvis in, so rounding your whole spine here and pushing your chest away from the mat. For now, you're just going to hold this. We'll take 20 seconds here. Take your time to breathe. If you notice that it is too heavy, of course, you keep your knees on the mat, but keep this alignment from your knees, hips, and shoulders. This is a good way to warm up more into your shoulders, as well as working a little bit on your core stability. Just take your time here. Just 5 more seconds. One deep breath. And as you exhale, bring your knees on the mat and your hips on your heels. You want to roll your shoulders a little bit, move your neck. You also want to make sure that your body stays stable and strong, but also relaxed and you're still comfortable into your body here. Right, we're going to take a second round here, but now we're also going to add a little bit of movement. So while you're in your plank, making sure you're very strong, you're going to let your chest sink between your arms and bring your shoulder blades together. And then you lift again, rounding your spine. And we do this for 1, going up, low, 3, low, 4, low, 5, low, 6, feeling your shoulders, 7, 8, so you're not bending your elbows and your arms stay straight, for 9, the last one, and coming back up. Alright, place your knees on the mat, roll your shoulders, see for yourself how it goes, how you feel now. So we took some time to really strengthen the hands, the wrist, as well as the shoulders. Now we're going to start to work a little bit more towards the crow pose proper. So some of us have very sensitive wrists, and technically we can do the crow pose, but some things prevent us from doing it. So what you could do is use like a blanket. Shouldn't be too thick, just a couple of centimeters thick. And when you use your blanket, you are going to place your blanket on the mat. You're going to place your hand palms on your blanket, and your fingers are hanging over the edge of the blanket. So what you want to do is to have this configuration here with your hand palms all the way to the first knuckles of your fingers on the blanket and your fingers being hanging forward. This will help relieve lots of the tension that you can feel in your wrist in your pose. So if you need a blanket, feel free to grab one and practice with it. Another thing that is important is to keep your hands active when you are trying any kind of arm balance, also the crow pose. So what you want to do is kind of grab your mat. So you don't want to just have your hands flat and loose on the mat. You kind of want to grab your mat while keeping your fingers extended. What you do here is activate the muscles in your hand palm, and you try to make this dome shape under your fingers and under your hands to really keep your hands strong and active to prevent that you maybe sink a little too deep, and it will also help protect your wrists and your elbows a big deal. So try to find this for yourself, standing on your hands and knees here. You have your hands flat on the mat and you start to do this grabbing action of your mat, like you try to bring your fingertips to your wrist. You notice that the second knuckles of your fingers are moving up. This is actually what you want to achieve. You know that your hands are very strong and active, and that you are not passively hanging with your hands on the mat, but that you are really grabbing and being strong, which will help for balance because you are really strong on your base, and it will protect your joints as well. So let's move a little further here. When you want to practice your crow pose, actually the best way is to start in some kind of modified down dog. So you want to be there with your feet about a foot distance apart from your hands. And I'm not meaning the US measure, but really a physical foot of yours. Then pressing your weight a little bit more onto your hand, you are shifting your weight. Taking your time here, see how it goes, keeping your shoulders strong. So what you want to avoid is this sinking forward here, but you still want to push yourself up, away from your mat. And when you do that, you start to shift your weight more to the front until your shoulders are straight above your wrist, maybe even a little bit more to the front. And you notice that your heels are slightly lifting off the mat, or in any case, becoming lighter. And once you have that, actually, you're already in an option or a version of crow pose, or in any way an arm balance. What is an arm balance? It's having your weight balancing on your hands. When you are here, you have more weight on your hands than on your feet. So this is a good way to really start your practice. You really focus on pushing your hands away from you really hard into the mat, maybe lifting your hips a little bit more. So when you are here, see for yourself how it goes. Maybe you notice you have more space, so you can bring your heels a bit more off the mat and your hips a little higher. That's good. So the next step when you are here, you bend your elbows. And the thing is that what you want to avoid here is that your elbows are moving to the side. You want to keep them towards each other. So what helps is to maybe start with your fingers pointing a little bit more to the side. I like to have them towards each other because it gives a better stability for myself. But if you want to practice getting your elbows together, that you have a bit of tight shoulders, I think it's okay to just have your fingers pointing a little bit more to the front, to the side. So once you have that, your knees are bent here, and you're going to keep this lifting of the hips, shifting forward of your upper body, keeping your hands very strong on the mat, and then you place your knees as high as you can in your upper arms. The best is to have them all the way into your armpits. The thing is that because we're working on an arm balance, we want to stay compact. If you really are all the way open here, it's going to make it heavier to come into your pose. When you really squeeze your knees as high as you can into your upper arms, you make yourself small, and it makes it easier to divide your weight for the balance. So this is already quite a big step. See for yourself how it goes. Take a few breaths here. And once you feel comfortable here, you start to bring your heels off the mat. Shifting your weight more on the tip of your toes and more forward. And if this is still going good, you first practice with one foot off the mat. Then you bring your foot on the mat again. And then you bring your outer foot off the mat. See how that goes. And once you find that you have a good balance here, you shift your weight even more forward. Bring one foot off the mat, then the other one. You try to bring your big toes together and lift your hips even more. So this is your crow pose here. Take a few breaths, and then gently come back. Give your wrists a little roll, maybe your shoulders. See for yourself how it goes. So you can practice this for a few times for yourself. I got another tip for you. Very often, most people with a good anatomy, which most people have, they can go to the crow pose, but are being blocked because you're afraid to fall with your head on the mat. This is very understandable, of course. One thing one of my teachers told me a long time ago was, if you're afraid to fall on your head into crow pose, what is there to be afraid of? You are already on the ground. I was like, okay. Then he said, I see you're not convinced. So realize that the bone at the front of your forehead is the strongest bone of your body. Because you're not falling from so high, it's okay. I was like, okay, let's try this. But in the end, the best way is to fall a couple of times, see for yourself that it's all right, and then you gain more confidence and you dare to get a little further into the pose. However, I found out that if you use a block, it can be a block, it can be just a big cushion, like a bolster or a meditation cushion, just to place it in front of you on your mat. Let me demonstrate how you can do that. So we're taking all the steps that we did. It's a nice way to review that. First, starting into this modified down dog with your feet about 1 foot distance away from your hands. Shifting your weight more on your hands, keeping your fingers strong and hands active. Bending your elbows, bringing your knees into your upper arms. Then from here, you're going to shift your weight forward gently and place your forehead on your block. You can modify, maybe for some of us it needs to be a bit more to the front or a little closer Just find a place where it's comfortable for you. Then, once you have your forehead on the block, you remove one foot of the mat, then the second one, and then as last, you bring your head off your block and see for yourself how it goes here. Make sure to keep breathing the whole time, keeping your upper back round, lifting your chest towards your spine. And then, your feet on the mat, roll out the wrist, your neck. See for yourself how it goes. We're going to do a last round together. Just a quick recap of all the steps that you need to take to get into your crow pose. So, follow along. Place your hands flat on the mat. Your hands are about shoulder distance apart, fingers spread wide. Activating into your hands, making them very strong on your mat. Shifting your shoulders more to the front and having more weight on your hands than on your feet. Here you can bend your knees and place your knees as high as you can into your upper arms. Shifting your weight more on the tip of your toes, more and more forward, bringing one foot off the mat, both feet off the mat, big toes together, and being into crow pose. Okay, stay there as long as you can. Practice these different movements, different steps, working on your wrist and hand strength. And once you're done, you take a moment in Shavasana, go further with your own practice. Thank you again for watching this class together. I hope you enjoyed it and you find some useful tips to help you in your practice with crow pose. As I mentioned earlier, crow pose is not so much about physical strength. Of course, you need to be able to support yourself on your hands, which requires some arm strength, shoulder flexibility, and strength as well with your core. But really, it's more a matter of being able to find the balance by moving your body until you are just balancing without using too much strength. And this you do mostly by bringing your focus here and now. And to calm your mind, focus on your breathing and just take the time to observe how your body is reacting to different positions. Then you will be able to adjust and find your balance. Again, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, if you need more tips for your specific type of body to where you are in your practice, please just drop a comment below and I will do my best to help you further on the way to the beautiful arm balance. For now, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. See you next time again. Namaste.